Jam your hands together. Jam your hands together. Thank you very much, Mr. Iyin Aboyeji. How do you feel being in Port Harcourt?
Fantastic, fantastic. This is not my first time in Port Harcourt. I used to actually run around here many years ago, as my brother would tell you. So,
yes. Welcome to Port Harcourt.
Thank you.
What do we say to Mr. Iyin? What do we say to him?
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm from here now. I've been stuck with that.
Welcome to Port Harcourt, Mr. Iyin. The next few minutes, we're going to be having really important conversations, and I'll be asking you really salient questions that I've had in mind since yesterday. I've been wondering, you've been a part of people building really remarkable startups that are doing great stuff all over the world, right here from Nigeria, right? And for someone who has been in this business, who has been in this industry for quite a while, what are the early signs of a startup that is going to do well? And then on the flip side, what are also the early signs of failure that you look at for in startups before it scale?
So that's a very good question. So I think the first thing that I often notice about, I've invested in over 130 companies now. So for you to invest in 130, you probably have seen more than 1,000 plus, because not everybody that you see you invest in. And there are a few patterns. So for the ones that do well, the first is there's an extreme bias for action. When I say extreme bias for action, if you mistakenly tell the person that, come, I need to see you you just say by mistake, like, at some point, we'll have to go to Lagos to see this person. They can be in Lagos tomorrow, waiting for you. Just because, as far as they are concerned, you said you should be in Lagos. So, when you meet people like that, you're very careful what you say. And also, but it's very commendable. I'll give you one story. I have this founder, so I have I do some work in Barbados. So sometimes, Nigeria can get a lot. So when I need to go for focused work, I don't want anybody to disturb me. I'll go to Barbados. And I just told the founder that, hey, by the way, I will meet you when I come back. Like right now, I'm doing work in Barbados. I just want to focus. But I'll see you after. Most normal people would have just said, I'll see you when you are back, right? Found that I don't know how, just showed up. I'm telling you. So we had a situation and we had to figure it out. But we invested, and I just noticed that extreme bias for action. And it's not just about travel. The person must have had passports, of course, But it's like when you tell them something, they immediately take action on it. You never see them the same way you met them before. The second thing is, they actually care more about the mission than they do about their company. So when you meet them and they tell you about the problem they're trying to solve and why they're trying to solve the problem, you get the sense very quickly that if somebody else actually solved the problem, they will just go and work for the person. They are not in this because of the title. They actually just okay, fine. Somebody's already solving the problem, go and work there. And most of them only leave where they are working. They're usually working somewhere. They're not idle people. Entrepreneurship is not their first job. And they only leave that place because either the leaders at that place are not giving them room to pursue that mission that they have. So that's another thing I noticed. The third thing and the most important thing is that they are very humble. Very, very, like the best entrepreneurs, they are very humble. For the sort of people they have, for what they've achieved, they stay as humble as possible. On the other hand, what do I see that makes me sure that this person, I think the first thing is you can tell they've not done the work. And what do I mean by the work? If I want to start, if I say, my goal in life, as you see me so, and to build house for room koro. That's my goal. I don't want anything else in this world. I just want to build a house, a room koro. Your first step will not be to go and ask your uncle for money. Abi, am I? Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Your first step will not be, uncle, give me money to build house. Do you understand? That's not what you will do now. What will you do? You go and work. You go and look for money. You gather it small. At least you buy land. Even if they have quarter plots, you go buy them first, leave them for grant. Say, at least, make God see my heart though. You know, I bought quarter plots. I go to expand them as we go. Even if eventually you want to live in GRA, like it's expensive, Abi, you say, okay, don't worry. Let me buy very close to the airport or something, one far place. Don't worry. As they build them, we go to move to the permanent sites. That's how you do it, right?
Yes.
The guys that I know they are not going anywhere, the first thing they come to me with is pitch deck. So once I just see that pitch deck, and I only ask one question when people come to me with pitch deck. Have you launched? No. Have you spoken to your customer? No. Okay. Who is on your team? It's only me, sir. This one is idea. That's idea. So those are the two ways you know. One guy, extreme bias for action. That means that by the time he has come to you, he has built the software, He's not asking you for money to do any of that. In fact, he's not even asking you for money. He just wants you to help him get customer. If he doesn't have customer, and he even knows the customer, he's like, hey, I know you are very close to this person that is in this ministry. Can you please just tell him to look at what I'm doing? I don't even want you to tell him, just tell him, just look at his WhatsApp. I've been messaging him for 1 month. That's usually how the ones that I know I'm going to invest in come. But the ones that I know I'm not going to invest, they just come with idea, and they're like, and they ask for one big money, you know. And me, I just say, well, when you launch, I will see. I don't say no. I just say when you launch, you will see.
Thank you very much for that answer. While we are answering the question, I needed us to be able to connect like on a very personal level with the founders here. I know that before you became this Iyin, seated here having these conversations with us, you've also had like your learning periods and processes. And much of that probably will be when you were building Mandela and Floating Wave. At their early
Before that.
Are there really any painful experiences you had at that point that you don't want any founder in this house to repeat?
I mean, look, I think you should repeat them. It's good for you. It's true. And you will repeat them anyway, because no matter how much you talk, you will still repeat them, so there's no problem. It's part of the learning. But I think the biggest thing is, you know, I mean, what I would say first of all is like, I think the day I understood that at the end of the day, value is what builds the business. And that value comes from customers, not from the solution you have built. That was the day that I fully understood how this thing works, right? And so before then, I was very obsessed with the technology. I was very obsessed with talking about myself. I was very obsessed with talking about how brilliant I was, how young I was. I thought all of those things mattered. But at the end of the day, it's nice, it's cute. But when you are in the marketplace, all the customer cares about is his own problem. You are just, you might as well not exist. They don't care about you. They don't care about what you've built. They only care about their problems. I used to take it personally until I realized that it's just how the world works. So if you're going to show up in these places, you have to just show up from the start with, this is how I can solve your problem, right? Then you can be talking about other things later. So that's the first thing. I think the second thing I learned that maybe founders should not repeat is that, look, nobody owes you anything, right? A lot of people walk through the world with a lot of entitlement. and they think that just because they worked hard means that their effort will be rewarded. And that's not how the world works. In fact, it's just the grace of God that helps somebody to do well. You understand? Some people do well with very little effort. Some people do well with a lot, do very poorly, even though they put in a lot of work. But the most important thing is, the only principle that underlines both is that if you are focused on the needs of others, right, they tend to be good to you generally. It doesn't always work that way, but generally, if you're very focused on what other people need, you're better. So, a practical example: I was building a business, so okay business. I was at first, what I wanted to do, I had done something in Canada called Bookneto. It was okay. It was okay. But when I moved back to Nigeria, I thought I could do the same business, so I started to build business. Unfortunately, NUC didn't give me approval. Although now that I'm more mature, it was a decoy. The professors I was selling to just wanted an excuse to get me out of their office. So they just said, go to NUC and collect approval. But which university collects approval for NUC to deploy technology? They didn't need what I was selling. In fact, now I'm wiser. I know that it was directly against their own interest, right? Because what I was trying to do was I was trying to get them to teach all the university students across all the universities where they teach on one platform, not knowing that they collect salary from each university. So the guy was hearing me and saying, this one, you ain't go anywhere. You get? So that was when I now learned. After that, I learned that you need to align yourself to other people's interests. You understand? So what do they want? So after a while, I just realized I couldn't solve their problem. So I started to sell online degree programs but at first I was struggling because I would go and sell it to people that just graduated and they don't have money. And these programs are very expensive. Until I now found out that actually I could partner with the loan people that give bankers loan. And that if I target the bankers that are on the cusp of promotion to general manager, they are moving from senior banker to AGM. Those ones, they need MBAs to make the promotion. And they can't leave their job for 2 years to go and do MBA. So if they can't afford Cranfield, which is where all of them were going, the ones that have money, they have to do it online so that they can qualify as general manager. So once I understood what the person's interest was, I just partnered with the loan company. The loan company will come to you and say, hey, come and do your masters. I'll give you money for the loan. And that's how I was making money. Then I now realized that there are only so many bankers that are awaiting promotion to assistant general manager. It's a very small group. So I need to expand the market. That was when I now started to engage. I now came across the idea of Andela, which was really, my co-founder. He became my co-founder. I was telling me that he's looking for somebody that does Salesforce administration, and he has 150K salary. He can't find anybody, but that job can be done from anywhere. So I said, okay, if you pay me $50,000, not 150 or 50,000, and I find you the people, are we in business? And he said, yes, no problem. And that's how the seed of Andela started.
This is very good to hands together for me.
So it's really just about finding out what are people's interests, what is their interest. He wanted a lower. He didn't really care about the wage bill, to be honest. He just wanted somebody to do the work. But it's an added benefit for him is that he can do it for cheaper. So once you look at the world like that and you're asking yourself, what is in the other person's interest? Not what do I want? Leave that as a second question. Don't ask that question first. Just ask, what does the other person want? And just make it available. If that person wants to continue getting that thing, he must give you something now. You can do the first one free, but after that one, should be you in charge. And everybody will be very happy to pay if the service is good. So that's how, those are the major flips in my mind that actually helped me as an entrepreneur. You will break up. Not that you cannot be forever. It's not marriage now. Do you understand? So you need to understand. So the first thing I look out for is, what am I bringing to the table? Before I even ask what is the other person bringing to me, what am I bringing to the table? What skill set do I have that will make me a fantastic partner for this person? I mean, I just have three. I only know how to do three things. I can't code. I know how to do things. Number one, I can build a business model. And when I say build a business model, I know how to translate what people want into what we can get for it. So somebody says, look, I want a house, but I only have 10 naira. I know how to make that 10 naira work to give you a house. If we want to. And if the person is willing to pay, generally speaking, if they really, really want a house and they only have 10 naira, I can figure it out. That's my skill. Second skill I have, I know how to build trust with people. So investors, and it's very simple, but it's difficult, which is you have to just understand how to communicate transparently, but with a lot of empathy, right? But it's a long course. You can do that one later. But I know how to communicate in a way that gets people to trust me. And I try not to abuse that trust. The third thing is that I can take crazy risk. So the risk that other people, if someone says, oh, we're looking for somebody that will enter, anyway, is in my lineage, because my father used to go regular to go and see them to Polo when they were still on the other side. But you understand, like if you say, I'm looking for someone that can go and talk to a militant, I'll just wear my bag and I'm on my way. I don't used to fear. That time that there was crisis, I used to be in Jigawa, I used to be in Ono all the time. It was just what I did. Because I think you just get to a level where you're like, if you die, you die. All die and die. So, so those three things, that's what I bring to the table, right? Other people might not be able to take the risk I can take. Other people might not be able to communicate in a way that gets people to trust them. Other people may not be able to understand human needs and translate that into a business, right? Now, when I evaluated myself, I now say, what do I need to make the business work? Knowing that these three things I have, but if I want this business to work, I need some other things. That is now the basis of co-founding. It's not you are my friend. I always tell people that. I was just talking to some people in Abuja. I was like, no, I think I only had one co-founder at my wedding. And it was my current co-founder. That one, he was in Baba. So he just made sure he came. I think, you know how older people just feel a certain level of, no, I can't not go for this child's wedding. But none of my co-founders were at my wedding. Apart from, well, there's also one, you know, they say one that sticks closer than a brother, Nadaya. Apart from that, and you know, but I didn't have, there was my own crew that I brought into the business. Those guys are my guys. Till tomorrow, we see every year. But I'm talking about the other people that I proper brought into the business. I'm not that close to them. It's not like a bad thing. It's just that we do our business. We understand we are here, we're standing on business, and we go home. So we look for, so what are we looking for? We're looking for the people that can add the most value, because a business is entirely the founding team. There's nothing else. You can, if you give the wrong founding team $10 billion and say they should build NVIDIA, you will not get NVIDIA. You may get a lot of things, but you will not get NVIDIA. So a business is entirely the founding team. So I try to keep the bar extremely high, maybe unreasonably high. Like when I was talking about Jeremy, at the time I was pitching Jeremy to come and be my co-founder. He was the chief strategy officer for a public company on the NASDAQ. Do you understand? So I say, come and co-found the business with me. We just did Lagos. They manage 3-bedroom for Barika. You understand? That was the distance. But I was like, if this thing is compelling enough for you, come and join. And regularly, I pitch co-founders that are, you understand what I'm saying? But I know what I bring to the table, so I'm always happy to demonstrate my own value. You understand? And convince them that, look, I can actually do this thing with you. And I'll say the second question you asked was...
Yeah, the second part of the question is, have you had an institution where technical brilliance clashed with interpersonal skills?
Well, the thing about it is that you need to work with somebody. Well, first of all, don't expect to work with anybody who's perfect, right? And you need to understand the person you're working with and how they think. And also, I always say, look, world is not war, right? If you deeply believe in your own capabilities and you believe in God, and somebody comes to you and tells you, and I'm not doing it again, then there's no problem now. Let's be going. I'll see you. see you later. Let me go and do another one. Do you get what I'm saying? Me, I'm always very inspired by, in the Bible, you read about Abraham and Isaac. We just kept digging wells. So me, I dig, because what happens usually is, well, first of all, you should have something called a founder's agreement, right? That's like just basic common sense, where you agree. But the part that most people skip in those founders agreement, that's why I said, don't believe that lie that co-founding a business is like marriage. They forget the divorce clause. They assume that everything will be good forever. So me, when I get into a business, there are two things I do. One, I have my divorce clause very clearly spelled out. This is, if you don't want me in this business anymore, just do this and this and this. Are we agreed? Yes. End of story. Right? And then second of all, I always type my resignation letter and put it in my draft. Those are the two things I do every business I enter. Because at any point in time, you can be called upon to resign. And you should be ready to what? To resign. So me, I always think like a lot of the time when you see tension, it's mostly just because people think this is the only good idea they will ever have in their life. Do you understand?
Sorry, does this confidence come from having done it over and over again, or is it like a personality trait for you?
Okay, if you are not God, I don't care. You know what I mean? That's just the way I live my life. It's like, are you God? If you are not God, don't worry. There's no problem. You understand? Because me, my own anointing extends beyond. You get my point. So I don't worry about those things. If I come, I create value. If you want to give me my value, God will bless you. If you don't give me my value, I shake my shoe and I walk away. So once you live your life like that, you can never be cheated.
Thank you very much. The third question we have for you, it's like an offshoot of the first and second questions. But this time around, you're interested in your non-negotiables. You're building Future Africa, and every day you get to see startups, founders coming to you for funding. You know, what are those things you see, or what are your non-negotiables when deciding founders or teams to partner with? What are those patterns or those things you see that you say, okay, I'm going to go with this? And what are those red flags too that on your opinion?
I mean, for me, a lot of the non-negotiables, there's first of all, there are businesses we can't do, right? So like, if you're doing gambling, it's just not going to work. If you're doing alcohol, it doesn't work. And we don't even make it a thing. We just know it won't work. You understand what I'm saying? Just because of the way our business is consecrated. But there are other things, most of the time, and look, this is my real point of view. Most things can be made to work if people know better. And that's the attitude I use in business. I want to just understand where you're coming from and then explain my perspective. So for example, some people will come to me and say, oh look, we have not started anything. I have this regularly. Or we've done something small, but we want X and X amount of money. And okay, I said, well, first of all, my funding is not a reward for building a business or trying to build a business. My money goes into the business. So why don't we sit down and understand, if I'm interested in what you're doing, line by line, where the money is going, and then see whether the returns are likely. And like 95% of entrepreneurs just crumble there. Because most people look at investment as a reward for building a business. But it's not true. Do you understand? So they actually don't really care for whether there is a return on that capital or whether they are really investing in this. And you see entrepreneurs, what are you going to use the money for? I want to pay myself $5,000 a month. I want to buy a car. I want to rent 3-bedroom flats. In Yaba or in Koyo, I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? Like, once people start with their needs as opposed to with the needs of the business, usually it's hard for me, especially if they're very adamant. Because I think sometimes entrepreneurs are just taught some of these things, but they don't really think through them. So I'm usually happy if I'm interested in the business to actually really understand, like, does this thing really make sense? Even to you, because my philosophy is to leave you better off than you met me, even if I don't invest. Right? One of our mantras at Future Africa is that we want to be the best investor you've never had. Do you understand? Like, we want to be the best investor that you didn't have. So even if we don't, and I've engaged with people, I mean, my brother is here, I can tell you, even if I'm not investing, I just want to help you make sense of things in a way that, okay, whoever you go to, you actually say, no, this guy, you have a clear point. So that's another thing. Okay. And the third thing I would say for me is one big non-negotiable is commitment. I've still not managed to be able to do, and maybe this is because of hard-won experience. Some people is working for, but after, I would say, in the last 4 years, you must give me a timeline for resignation from whatever you are doing. Otherwise, it won't work. Because my capital is only full-time. I'm not saying you must resign on the spot, because I also don't want you to fight your employer. But usually, we discuss, you give me a timeline, 6 months. If in that timeline, it's not possible for you to leave what you're doing, to come and focus on it, I'll just tell you, let's go, sir. Let's walk when you are ready.
Please put your hands together for me. Are you getting value so far? Have you gotten any value so far? We want to continue with this. We want to really continue this conversation, but we have just some minutes left. So we're going to expedite the questions. I'm going to ask you one last, no, not the last question, because I have a lot of questions for you. But I hope it's going to be my last question, which is, you said something about reaching out from Lagos to someone who already was a chief strategic officer in a NASDAQ listed firm, and we're able to do this from Lagos. Now this brings me to a question that was around building relationships across board with customers, investors, and even down to the team. Do you have any guiding principles with which you build those relationships? What's your North Star for this?
So, for me, I just try to give value first. I don't think I go, one thing that you find I'm very uncomfortable with, I rarely ever ask people for things. But I don't mind people asking me. I consider it a blessing for me to give, but you would rarely, it takes a lot for me to say to somebody, please, I need help. And most times, when I'm even forced to do that, it's for somebody else. Do you understand what I'm saying? So my own philosophy of relationships is give value first. Rush to give value first. Rush to be the person that, you understand, that will always serve others. Rush to be the person that will cater to what other people need. Some people say maybe it's a foolish way to live life, but it's worked for me. So when you give value first and you're genuinely interested in helping people, the kind of friendships that you make. Because, for example, that Andela conversation, it didn't come from me begging the guy to co-found the business with me. Do you understand? It wasn't that I begged him and said, please, can you build Andela with me? No. It was just that, okay, you are my first client, you're the first person that saw this thing. And you have what it takes to raise the money. Come and join now. Eh? You do soup finish, you don't done, you don't want show. You understand? So it was from looking out for him that he became my co-founder. But some people, they're always in ask mode. Always urgent 2K. Every time. It doesn't work. You can't build a relationship on transaction where you've never done anything for anybody, but you are demanding from them. Or the worst one, I actually think this one is even worse, is that you're just setting the person up to eventually ask the person for something. Do you get what I'm saying? If you serve people kings will come to your rising. That's what the Bible says, Abby. That's how it works in life.
Thank you very much. I have this question, and it's because of the recent trends within the AI space. Two questions in one, actually. Which is, first, where do you think Africa is going to be in the next 5 years in terms of the AI conversation? And then the last part of the question is, we've also seen situations where some big tech, is poaching tech talents from AI businesses, like what you have Zuckerberg doing with the very outrageous hiring. Have you had any situation where talent was poached from the team, and how did you maintain the vision of that? How did you keep the vision consistent through those trying times?
Any team that is dependent on a stakeholder that is not a shareholder is either unjust or foolish. Do you understand? Like, that's my belief. So if such a person was so valuable, why did you not make the person a shareholder at minimum? You get what I'm saying? So for me, I actually developed my talents for exports. And right now, I'm building AI engineers in Lagos as we speak. I'm hiring in droves. AI engineers that I'm qualifying and training to be AI engineers. I'm not doing that because I want to sit on top of their head. Do you understand? I know they will be with me for 2 years, but I know in 2 years, if they really, really pick up, right, immediately, one Zuckerberg in here. Do you understand? And I know that by doing that, I'll get value. Do you get my point? So, it's a function of your mentality of talent. And there are lots of fantastic people in the ecosystem that came through our hands by the grace of God. And that's our pride and joy, right? We're not trying to sit on anybody's head. So, if you're a talent, actually my prayer is for the day you come to me and say, Oga, I'm going home. And if it doesn't happen in 2 years, I'll force you out. That's the way I work. I'll force you out. My people must, if you are not, but if you are strategic to my business, you are part of it. You are inside the business. You are not, you understand, you are going to be, if that letter comes, we can now sit down and have a conversation. Can they give you 1 year? Because honestly, the truth is that if they give somebody that is my partner $100 million, I'll just tell you, okay, it's okay. Just drag the rest of us out. There's no need, just sell us with you. There's no need to be costly like this now. There's no problem. So, but, I mean, if somebody is that strategic to your business, they should be part of it. But your goal as and I think every business should be a human development manager. Your goal should be to see people go on to bigger heights from your place. Also, the wisdom is that it attracts more people. Like today now, we're only 6 people because I can't manage that many people. But if I open internship slots, because people that worked for us went to Kuramo, they went to bigger firms, big firms. They went to Calio, they are managers, they are principals, some of them, they are anyway more than me, Seth. That's my joy. That's the advertisement for the next batch.
Thank you very much. Please put your hands together for Mr. Iyin. And ladies and gentlemen, we've officially come to an end of the fireside chat with Iyin Aboyeji. Sir, please, before you leave. With a standing ovation while we're still seated, in the spirit of clapping hands and celebrating greatness, let's make welcome to the stage Dr. Henry Mogolu to come make the presentation. And I want the presentation to standing Aboyeji. Please keep clapping until keep clapping, keep clapping. I said keep clapping now. Keep clapping. Thank you very much.
I don't know whether I'm qualified to even give you this award after listening to you. Iyin, I'm correct. Aboyeji. On behalf of the Ignite Pro community, the young ones that are doing all this work that brought you here, and the board of trustees, we present you this award of excellence for in recognition of your bold leadership, transformative investments, and unwavering commitment to building Africa's future. But having listened to you, I can see that there's so much. Then I will also encourage that before you leave, maybe you work with us. We need you to mentor people. Because it's not just about hearing these people and going away. And for those of us who are here, I will encourage you to look for these people to get mentorship. It's very, very important. Yeah? I don't know how many of you know Bob Somotova, who was NLNG here, CEO. He was my mentor, and I still continue to get that mentorship from him, even in old age. So please be available to help out. Thank you.
So please keep clapping. We're not done yet. Let's also make welcome to the stage the planning team for Ignite, for Accelerate 2.0, and the members of the Ignite Pro community.